What's good? Please forgive my tardiness today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news, which you all should know by now. We're going to get to that. The Washington Commanders finished the season 8-1. The Georgia Bulldogs won the Natty. The Dallas Cowboys finished the season on a losing note. We'll cover all of this and more with the one and only Candy Waller, who will be joining us very shortly. But you guys know what time it is. It's time to get into it. Let's go.
Artlist.io.
First String Podcast presented by Bet Rivers. Make sure you guys download that Bet Rivers app or go to www.betrivers.com. You must be 21 years or older to play. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the First String Podcast. Tell a friend about First String Podcast. Give us that thumbs up. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this right here. Like I said, we got a fire show for y'all today. Let's get the cast of many in here. What's good, Say? How are you, man? You actually survived. You're actually still alive. Okay, all right.
We did our thing. We did our thing,
man. We got beef too. I meant to tell you that, and I will get to that later. But you and I, we got some beef. All right.
Sorry.
Let's get to a man of many words, none of which we really listen to. My guy, Ant. What's up, man? How are you?
Just preparing for week 18, man.
That's passed already.
That was last week, player.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to add of the week. Well, just getting prepared for week 19. Whatever. However you look at it. Just getting prepared for the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Now you in there. Now you in there.
Yeah, I got you. Ant's gonna have an early day today, so hey, here we go. Let's bring in a lady who is prepared for a little something. Let's get Lady A in here. How are you, Lady A?
Hey, is this where we go for Scott Turner's funeral?
Yes, it is, man.
Oh, yeah. It's the funeral?
She's got it all working. She's got it all working.
Mm-hmm. We got the funeral. Yes.
Yes.
Look at sing it, Ant.
Look at say rock it with me.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Hey, don't forget all them third and ones.
Scott, take me with you.
Yes, Lord.
Oh my goodness, well y'all petty.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, first off, I am not one to laugh at a man's or make fun of a man losing his job, but I know he signed a new contract, and it will be paid in full because it is guaranteed. So he's not hurting for nothing.
Yes,
we're gonna get into that, but first let's say this. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. And Go Caps was actually in yesterday, so Go Caps was first in the building. What I tell you, Lady A? Didn't I tell you that it'll be gone? I told you. Yep. I said it'll be gone. So his comments is gone. I got you.
It's all right.
I got you, John. I see what you said. Yeah, we got Go Caps. We got Bruce in the building. Bruce Glass is in the building. He said, "Good evening, everyone." Bruce again. He's our insider with down about them dogs, right? Current NFL coach Hick. Yeah, so Bruce is giving it all to y'all right now. Current NFL head coach openings, right? There's an OC opening as well. And here we go. Cardinals fire Cliff Kingsbury. Texans fire Lovie Smith. Broncos fire Nathaniel Hackett in December. Colts fire Frank Wright in November. Panthers fire October. Absolutely absolutely. That's all the openings right now. And just like we said, there is an offensive coordinator position that is open as
Good
well.
job.
Also, this one's for Ant. How about them Cowboys?
We'll find out
They
on
forgot to
Monday.
show up on Sunday.
Oh,
Find out on Monday.
You know what? You found out on Monday that they forgot to show up on Sunday. Right. Okay. Sam Howell gets his first win, gets a win in his first start. Yes, and how about this one? How about this one, Bruce? Sam Howell first pass was a touchdown pass.
yep.
How about that?
I told y'all
Yeah,
Sam was
first
going
pass
to be
to
one.
Yeah.
Man, Bruce is killing it, right? Also, the Steelers may not be in the playoffs, but all of their credit, the credit goes their head coach. They finished above 500 again. Yeah,
Yep.
Best coach in the
Kudos to Mike.
NFL.
Bruce in the
Best
building.
coach in
Jay,
the
what's up?
NFL.
Without it, hands down. And he said he's still salty from Sunday.
Oh,
Thank you. He
Move
said we're
on,
running a little
brother.
late, about 10
Move
minutes.
on, brother. We got bigger
10
fish
minutes
to
right
fry.
there.
We
look
got
at
bigger
his
fish to
And he
picture.
said he's about to be a billionaire.
Wait, did you see that
About to
picture
be, what?
on set?
Oh, he
Oh, that's so
updated it.
funny.
Oh my!
He is so
This
petty.
dude is everywhere.
Why are you so petty?
Hey, you were supposed to let that slide by when I
No,
said
no,
you the
I
only one
noticed
seen it, Lady A.
everything. I noticed
Oh, hey,
everything.
listen, I'm over here reading these comments. I'm freaking the lights that Scott Turner's gone.
I'm
John
with you, John.
John
Oh,
also
my
said,
goodness. Lady,
oh
the
yeah,
only one that saw
she's
it.
dressed for a funeral.
Oh.
Also, go Dogs. I'm tired of telling y'all, but y'all won't listen. I got you. AJ Jackson. AJ Jackson's in the building today. Hey, okay. And we are being joined right now by the one and only Candy Waller from Coaching on the Couch. How are you, ma'am?
Hello,
I'm
CWall.
good. Hi, everybody. I'm a little delayed.
Yeah. Well, see,
We
you had
all
some
are.
breaking
We
news
all are.
around 4
CWall. It's
o'clock.
cool.
Yeah, you had a little breaking news around 4 o'clock, which was great.
Oh.
You know. So did you attend
She like, no biggie.
the cleaning out of the I mean, did you attend the conferences today and everything?
No, Darrell went. I was there all day yesterday, and I had a lot of meetings I had to tend to with my foundation and other things. So Darrell held that down and did all the camera work, and he did all that. I was kind of laughing, like you had this whole press conference, and nobody cared about anything other than did you fire Scott yet?
Yep.
Well, wait. There's something that was mentioned in this press conference, and I have to bring it up.
Yeah,
You know me. I'm gonna bring up facts. The say his job is stats and facts, but I'm gonna bring this up. So Ron said in a press conference he does not want to be judged off wins and losses.
Oh Lord.
Hold up. Let me talk to myself real fast, and then I'm gonna bring the question to y'all. Is this not a result-driven business? Yes, it is. Do you not get positioned off of how many wins and losses you have? Why, yes, you do. Shouldn't we judge you off that? Well, absolutely. Okay, now that I had that great talk with myself, right? I mean, I had hope after Sunday with the quarterback and everything like that, but a coach that does not want to be judged off of wins and losses, is he expecting to be judged off of how the uniforms look, how they break the huddles, how they kick field goals? Oh, my bad, miss field goals.
Oh,
Man.
I mean, what does he want us to judge him off of? That nobody gets a uniform fine, that he doesn't get fined in practices for practices being too rough? I need some clarification on this one.
That they feel good about themselves.
yeah. He wants to be judged based on the camaraderie in the locker room. I mean, it is one of the intangibles. It is, and I have to say this. You know, they love Ron Rivera. The players, they love Ron Rivera. They love Ron Rivera. Anything else in terms of getting rid of Ron, we better be quiet about that. Because if you ever want to see them go crazy or not be pleased, it would be more than likely removing Ron Rivera. So that's what he wants to be judged on. These players, they ride for him. I mean, Jeremy Reeves said out loud he run through a big brick wall over him, and he means that. Many players have said that. He was brought here to change the culture, to change the locker room, all of the above. And guess what, y'all? He did that.
Yeah,
That's the reality. That's the
but-
heart. The truth of the matter is that was why he was brought to Ashburn, Virginia, was to help change the culture of that locker room. That is what it was for. That is what it was truly about. It is something that's an intangible. And I've said this on my show. I've said this out loud in a number of spaces, even with my media colleagues. Hey, listen, what he was brought here to do, guess what? He did it. But from a numbers perspective, to your point, they gonna judge you based on wins and losses. But the reality is the owner brought him in here to do something, and that is exactly what he did based on the opinion of every single player in that locker room.
But
He
can
did it.
I please? I mean, I know that these players have agents and things like that, but at some point in time, I would like to refer them to their contracts where it says, when you make the playoffs, you get extra free money. And let's see if they still want to be judged off of the camaraderie in the locker room, or will they go out and start doing what they're supposed to do on the field, which in turn adds more money to their contract. Because I'm sorry, if they're in it to be friends and get a participation trophy, they're in the wrong. The NFL stands for not for long. I get that part, but yeah, I'm gonna start reading some contracts to these folks real fast. I'm gonna let somebody else talk because I
think the thing though is, and this is after having conversations with players that I will absolutely, some conversations that we're going to share, but not on Coaching from the Couch later this week when we do the season finale of the Washington Commanders update, and those conversations that aren't said. I mean, they're well aware of what their contracts say. They know.
Yeah.
And I think the move that was made publicly today was the players saying,
yeah,
this is on Scott Turner.
They did.
And we want him out because this doesn't make any sense anymore. We can all see. And because there's a brotherhood, because they ride for each other, because they play for one another, and because they had extremely high hopes, there was nobody quiet about pointing the finger at where they believe the problem lied.
Yeah.
Ron had to get it.
So John says here, CWall, my impressions of Ron as he's starting to talk. He started talking and forget what he was saying about halfway through his own comments. Does that make any sense? Like,
I mean, Ron, he doesn't want to say anything. He kind of admitted it today in the press conference. While I wasn't there, I definitely was listening and I was looking because I wanted to see. I'm a nonverbal cues person, and being around them now, I understand what they're saying and what they're not saying. And it was evident. I mean, he told it. If you pay attention to Ron, he's gonna tell on himself every time.
Yeah, because he can't stop telling everybody that we need a quarterback.
Yeah, he said it. He had to tell. He told JP, like, "Hey, listen, I can't tell you too much. I can't answer these questions because I don't want to show we can't show our hand."
Right.
He's not. He's a very simple person. He's very easy to read. He's very easy to understand. And when he doesn't want to get tripped up, which is exactly what ended up happening today, he showed his hand. He said, "Hey, listen, I can't give you the answer to that question because that will be us showing the hand. Soon as I say something, the agent going to come up and they're going to say, this is what you said in this press conference. Right. This is what this tweet say you said." And that's absolutely what agents do. So, I mean,
he did that to himself though in the last game. When he didn't realize that y'all was out of the playoffs the second to last game.
Yeah.
He
What?
really didn't know. And so it was interesting to me. I will say this. It was interesting to me how many fans thought that he was being sarcastic.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
I definitely
not at
did.
all. Not at all. That's wrong. That is wrong. That's him. He's he ain't trying to trip nobody up. He's not being real strategic and analytical. He ain't doing all that. He didn't know. Because if you
Mhm.
go back to that, the question wasn't even about them getting eliminated from the playoffs.
Right.
The question was about
Sam
starting
Howell.
Sam Howell at
Yeah.
quarterback.
Right.
And he got tripped up because he really did not know that they would be eliminated with the Green Bay win at 4:00. You know,
Mhm.
and that's why he had to come out and admit it again the next day that he didn't know.
I swear.
But I guess in the grand scheme of things, is that such a bad thing if your mindset should be executing and winning at the end of the day? Because you hear a lot of people say that it's just about, we just worry about ourselves. Other stuff is out of our control. We control what we control. Now, I do think you should have somebody that's in your ear saying, hey, this is what we got going. But at the end of the day, it really is his responsibility to make sure that he wins. My question would be, the first part, I guess, isn't even really a question because I do believe y'all probably think he should stay. If he has the
No.
locker room, hold on. If he has the locker room, and I guess you could say they're on an upwards trajectory and all of that. You know, Sam is showing a lot of promise. What is the realistic expectation for him next year, and I guess the year after, considering he looks like he's going to be able to finish out his contract?
That's all of those points I've heard, and it's a great point. It's an excellent point. And because I am one of the people that when Ron in real life, in real time, when Ron did not know that the team was being eliminated with that Green Bay win, at the time it was a potential Green Bay win, I unraveled. I was like, I gotta go and take a walk on this football field because no, like it had explained so much, in my opinion, of how the past, the prior weeks had gone down.
Yeah.
I think it should have been his responsibility to know there are others that thought the same to your response, and that there should have been somebody in his ear that kept him abreast of these things. Either way, he should have known. Period. Should have known. Absolutely non-negotiable.
I agree.
I'm also a person of the thought that is like, Ron, I like you a lot. I do. I like him a whole lot, but bye. It's gotta get it moving. And this team, man. I got really passionate talking about the team because I did not want to get into a whole lot of, well, Taylor should have did this and Carson should have did that. I didn't even want to get into that for other reasons, which we can talk about later. But I was annoyed, and I felt like you should know that. I will say this, because of the locker room, the players have said it. I have seen it now with my own eyes. What the camaraderie and what has been built. I have been on site with the Commanders for 5 years. I mean, I have been a long time, but it's been 5 years. I have never seen the locker room like this, ever.
Okay, but I mean,
and it matters though. I think I'm gonna say this. Had they listened to the players, see, this is why I'm like, we got to be careful with this one. And here's why. Had they listened to the players, they would have stuck with Taylor. Let's just be for real.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right. You're right.
Stuck with Taylor. Ron, but with his own mind, he went with his own sight. He's the smartest guy in the room. You put Carson in there, look what happened. Okay, fine. But now you listening to the players. I think there's something to be said about listening to the players because they also are very clear about who they want signed and things of that nature. This team was too good. They're not the best. Let me be clear. Let me be frank on this. But they were too good not to have made the playoffs and not to be playing this weekend.
I agree.
That is bad, considering essentially you got 6 Pro Bowl players. You got 4 Pro Bowlers and 2 alternates. That's 6. on the Commanders and the team did not make the playoffs,
Right.
Yep.
somebody had to pay for that. And it was Scott, deservedly so.
Right.
But, you
Partly.
know, yeah.
No, don't say
Because
partly.
But my
No,
thing,
because
my
I-
thing,
Hold on. Let's say it in there. Let's say it in
but
there.
Yeah, go ahead, Sid.
I understand what you're saying about the locker room.
Mhm.
You know, but him as the head coach, especially when it came to Sam Howell. I mean, you can go back and watch what we said this a few weeks back. If these two guys, if you're struggling so bad with one guy, you bench him and bring the other guy in.
Mhm.
If he's struggling that bad, why do you bench him and bring him back in and not give the guy who you is supposed to be your future
Mhm.
in that second half? Because I mean, we knew they activated him, but in that second half to see what he was bringing. Because as you see with Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, now that he's gotten the playing time and opened it up, that offense has completely changed.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Rookie.
be clear. Let me give y'all a couple tidbits. So Carson was Ron's guy. You know, I saw a lot of fans were talking too about like, well, Dan had this decision. Dan had it. No. Dan is trying to get his life together. He ain't had nothing to do with that. That was all Ron. And Ron was gonna go down on that hill of this is my guy. We done paid him $28 million, and this is what we're gonna do, and this is how we're gonna go out.
Yeah.
Okay. When it was first reported that Taylor was going to start before the Cowboys game, that was facts.
Mm-hmm.
There was a different decision made by players that said, give Sam the opportunity. That's why Sam started.
Yeah. All right, Ant, go ahead, get in there, man.
You know?
Yeah. It's disappointing, but yeah.
Oh, hold on, wait. Janet,
I guess go ahead.
Janet after Ant.
I guess my thing is just I said partly on Scott because I just feel like if a boat runs into the harbor, who's driving it? You know, I just think that at the end of the day, if you're the coach you should be, you should know when to take reins and control of your team. If the play calling is out of whack, you go in and you force the way things should be done. Because at this point, you are single-handedly costing this offense an opportunity to make the playoffs with the horrible play calls, with the first game against New York, with all the relentless screens that he ran that showed me that you didn't trust Taylor to go win the game. And then the second game, we saw what happened. So I think Ron is just as culpable for not saying, hey, do something different or else. And this whole 3 to 5 year window thing, that all is fine and dandy. But at some point, I mean, like, so if you make the playoffs next year, does that give them enough leeway to stay a little bit longer? If the team is as talented as everybody believes that they are, that should not be the climax of how good this team should be. You got to get those guys both out of there and get some people in there who can take Sam, if y'all want to go with him, and take him to the next level.
Yeah, I think that what people need to, and I see the comment here, I think from Metaphor, what people need to understand is these guys are brothers. Nobody is against Taylor. Nobody is against Carson. Nobody is against Sam. They all ride for one another. If you see what Carson put on his IG today, and he talked about, again, that locker room, that camaraderie, all of that, they're down for it. But for the Dallas game, they said, hey, we're not playing for anything. Give Sam the shot. Carson was inactive on Sunday. Taylor said, I will back up Sam. And that is why they went with Sam. You know, that's what he said when we were out there last week. And Sam showed off. You know, Sam, you know, and one of the great things is Sam he shared this with media last week, and he ended up telling it in his after game press conference on Sunday, is that Carson gave him his box. Carson gave him his box so that his family could come and see his first NFL regular season start. That's huge. And he talked about it. He said, Carson gets a lot of criticism. He gets a bad rap. He's a good guy. And that's exactly what I witnessed to all throughout the season. I came on the show before and I told you all, I'm not sure what happened with Carson in Philly, what happened with Carson in Indy. But since he's been in Washington, I don't see what everybody else saw. Right. We didn't get that Carson. but they were talking about who deserved the opportunity in a game that it meant something, but people understand too. I mean, Carson was inactive, like I said. Taylor has an opportunity to be a free agent. He's kind of sensed Ron Rivera doesn't want him as the quarterback. I mean, Taylor's been here for a long time, and we've consistently heard Ron say out of his mouth, "We're just a quarterback away." Well, you got a quarterback on your roster, but he loudly says, "Just a quarterback away." So Sam got the opportunity. His teammates vouched for it. Taylor extremely vouched for it. They went with it, and it worked.
Yeah, Lady A.
I don't have any questions because I just got comments because I completely agree. At the end of the day, I look at it like this. Scott Turner, and I think the players mentioned it too. Scott Turner caused them to, the players were frustrated. That's a problem when your players are frustrated with your play calling. As a fan, I'm frustrated, but the players, they have to go ahead and execute this mess that you're presenting to us. So that was an issue. But I look at Ron like this. If a ship goes down because different people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, it is the captain's job to make sure that they're doing all that they're supposed to do so the ship won't go down. Ron didn't do that. He said, to your point, Candy, CWall,
Either
to your
one.
point, to your point, a quarterback away. So if it's a quarterback away, you drafted a quarterback, right? You traded for a quarterback. And then the quarterback that you drafted, to your point, said they didn't play him to the end of the season, but yet you had some struggles throughout the season. When they pulled Taylor out the game in the fourth quarter, I think it was San Francisco.
Right.
That should have been Sam to go into the game. Then Taylor started after that. That could have been Sam. You have him start at the last game of the season. What did you bring him here for? You waited until after we didn't even have an opportunity to go to the playoffs to start this man. So I feel like Ron needs to be held responsible for that as well. And then the fact that you did not know, it's your job to know. You didn't know that you were in jeopardy of not going to the playoffs. That's a problem. That's a problem. You're supposed to know. I was furious. I'm calm now because I'm on a high today because I have been searching for Scott to have that conversation with him all season, but he's been running from me. So he got
That race is over.
and I'm good, because I feel like that was a major issue. That was one major issue this season. So I'm not going to say everything that I say because,
Well, listen.
I'm on camera.
let's talk about something that came out of positive, some positives that came out of Sunday game. We actually got to see Chris Paul, the guard that plays offensive guard for us. The young man actually did well, and we saw Sam, who we have been clamoring for a while. We see that he's mobile, right? He's literally the best of both quarterbacks that we had on the roster, in Taylor Heineke. Someone called Sam Taylor Heineke on steroids, right?
Okay.
A gun like Carson, mobile but bigger. He's about 6 foot, right, Candy? I'm sorry. CWall. Right.
Y'all fine. It's it's everywhere I go now. Doesn't matter. Candy on CWall. Yeah, they're all about the same height. I mean, Carson is the tallest by far.
Right.
Don't try to suck up now. Get off me.
Yeah, come on, metaphor.
Now that he know I'm in the locker room and know I'm in the press box, now
you want to be nice.
It's a trip wild.
It's okay. I'm used to it now. It's fine. But Carson is 6'5". He's much taller than Taylor and Sam. But yes, you are correct.
So I gotta say, there was one pass that just was amazing to me. I think it was a slant to Jahan That thing came out so fast. I thought it was incomplete, and they was like, "No, Jahan is running with the ball." I
Yeah.
was like, "Where'd that pass go?" So
Mhm.
this kid had a rocket, but then you
That's
kept
cool.
trying to replace Taylor with Carson, and you have to see this in practice when he's given scout team, right? Because he's running scout team. Like he was not just on scout team. They said he was running scout team, right?
Hey,
Like
I told
and
you this in OTAs. I said
Mhm.
this. I said he has an arm.
I
So
thought somebody, but I also thought somebody said he practiced bad.
Who is that? Which
Right.
player?
I've
they're saying
never.
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, it
I
was.
heard people say Sam practiced bad.
Yeah,
This
we
is the
got.
word.
He was a bad
From,
practice
from
player.
our end, not out there with y'all at from our perspective, we were seeing stuff saying that he was practicing. He was having bad practice.
Yeah, he
I
was at
never saw it.
No.
because
No,
I
well, the
never saw
word
it.
was that he wasn't ready. The
Yeah,
word is Sam wasn't ready to play, and even when he was the number two, Sam kept saying "Well, is he getting any snaps? Is he getting any snaps? You know, with the ones, and because he's one injury away, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So how could they not see that he is ready?
Ron, and I like Ron, and so I have to be careful even on my show because I have to be like, did I drag him too bad? Because I like Ron, I don't want to get put out, but Ron just it's again, he's a very simple man. He just wanted to be right about Carson, y'all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it was. It was not about no daggone spark and all this other stuff. It was not that. He just wanted his guy. He wanted to be right. It was that is literally all it was. He wanted to be right. He wanted the guy that he was paying $28 million to be there, to be it, and he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with my guy.
Absolutely.
But that's what shows that he's not qualified to continue this because you got to put all that to the side to
Right.
win.
Right.
It is about winning. So you can't say don't judge me off that because if you go 1-16, buddy, this ain't even a conversation.
right.
You can have the locker room as much as you want to. Win one game and then see how fast your butt be out of there.
We already seen that go down. Lovie Smith. No groceries.
Nah, that's
no
a raw
groceries.
deal though.
No, I'm just saying he had no groceries and they gave him 1 year.
But how about this? Ron has been here for how long?
This is year 3.
That's what I'm saying. So if at year 3, and he hyped up this season. Before the season started, he hyped up this season. He did not produce what he claimed he was going to produce. He said,
he said, I'm gonna produce a good culture, and he has done that.
I'm talking about right before this season. He made it.
I mean, if you pay attention to the stuff that he said, he only promised changing the culture. I'm serious. I had to go back and read the transcripts. I had to go back and I had to for my own sanity because I'm like somewhere something got lost.
Yeah, it's a disconnect.
The man never promised anything other than changing the culture.
Bless his heart.
No. But you're not even dealing with the same players next year, right?
Right.
That's what everybody told me yesterday in exit interviews. That's what everybody said. This is this locker room, but we all know it's going to look different next year because the locker room always looks different from year to year.
Yeah.
So here's my question: how many kickers do we bring in next year?
I'm about to put my name in the hat just for
right.
kicks.
Yep.
No pun
Just
intended.
for kicks. Yep. Just for kicks.
Right. Darrell has checked in. He's telling everybody to check this out. So your photographer, guy Darrell Owens, he's checked in. He's on Twitter. I guess he's watching us on Twitter right now. But he said,
Darrell, yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna get Darrell on soon too as well. I said this a couple of times. You had to feel like you sold Carson a bag of goods and then switched it out on him because you promised him that we was going to protect him. But as soon as we signed him, we let go of a guard, a free agent, and down in Jacksonville in the playoffs and Brandon Sheriff. And then we cut the other starting guard afterwards and we cut the defensive tackle just to make room for him. So at that point in time, I mean, these players, their contracts aren't guaranteed. But at some point in time, you got to say, hey, this guy sold me a bill of goods, telling me I was going to be protected, and he just cut the suit, cut a guard and let the other one walk in free agency. You know, that's got to count for something. So basically, I'm thinking, who's the next person that we're selling a bill of goods to? Let's start with the OC. Who do we think? I mean, names are out there. Is possibly in a position to come be an OC for, and you got to remember, front office contracts are guaranteed, so that's a plus, right? You have some good wide receivers to work with. You could be a young, up and coming offensive coordinator, and you get to call plays because half of the OCs in the NFL don't call the plays; the head coaches do. So this could be an attractive job with one side thing saying you could be working with a lame duck head coach when we get new ownership. So who's up for that task? That's what I mean.
I think the next big thing that ends up happening, you all, before we get to who's up for the task, is what's going to happen in this meeting that Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew are going to have with the Snyders on Monday.
I don't know, but you want to come back on Tuesday and tell us?
Maybe sign me up. Yes, I want to know. Right. I was like, well, when is the meeting? When is it? Because I mean, I think today I know that it's not necessarily Ron's style to announce, kick off the presser with "I have relieved Scott Turner of his duties," but I was thinking he was going to shock us and go ahead and lead with that. But he did share that he and Martin are meeting with the Snyders on Monday. Yeah. And I think that will be very telling, because I think that's where they will at least find out where things stand with the potential sale of the team.
Right.
And what that looks like. Because, I mean, Martin kind of said it, they don't worry about things that they can't control, but it's a very real thing that under new ownership, neither one of them will be there next year.
Right.
And so it's hard to say if any decisions can be made sooner rather than later, because what's the deal with the ownership thing? I think that's the next big thing that needs to be determined before moves start to be made in terms of, courting the next offensive coordinator. And really taking a look at who's even attending the Senior Bowl and who's doing all of that, and really taking a look at other players. I know, definitely, I have this wild and crazy thought that I'm like, well, if everybody likes Taylor and Sam so much, just pay Taylor. You got Sam. Yep. Beef up your O-line.
Yes.
Up your O-line. You want to spend some money on that offensive line and get you a middle linebacker, re-sign Deron Payne and Cam Curl, and then come talk to me later.
Hey,
CWall, that is
she about to be a general manager.
And I haven't forgot about you. I thought about you on Sunday.
Bring it on.
I thought about you on Sunday.
Let me get my thought out, but go ahead and bring that on. I ain't running from nothing.
I'm sure we thought about it.
Let me get one thing out that I apologize for real fast. Hi, Mama Waller. What's up?
Is she on there? Waller? Because I don't know. She has trouble with YouTube sometimes.
She always stalking you and following you. So I know she's probably around
me. YouTube gives her a hard way to go.
Right. Okay, Aunt, get in there.
My biggest thing is you gotta let Taylor go. You gotta let him go. He's been in too many. Is the backup better than the starter? At a certain point, you got to let that man go do what he's done. Now the argument, go do what he's gonna do in the future if he can get some money. The only thing that would make me say he should stay is the fact that Sam played really, really well. But let's be honest, is that gonna be the going standard for a rookie, fifth round rookie? The league is not built that way. At a certain point, it's going to catch up. So we don't know who he really is just yet.
Right.
But we see what the ceiling could be for him. But I think you let Sam take the reins, you draft the guy, and you let him go. You got to let Taylor go, make his money wherever he going to go. You got to cut bait with him at some point. He's not the guy, and he could be a good backup, but I think even in his mind, he thinks he can go start somewhere.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
probably
I
does.
believe that.
Well,
Well,
see,
well,
that's
see,
the thing.
well,
That's
that's
the
the
thing is
problem.
the league is going to speak for the league is going to speak to Taylor here in a minute. And what I mean by that is this: I would tell Taylor, we want you here as our backup. I can't say I'm gonna let you because he's a grown man. But if you would go out and talk to the rest of the teams and see if you can go anywhere and be the starting quarterback. And if they want you to be a backup quarterback, please come back to where you're loved by this fan base and compete for the number 2 spot because we are drafting a rookie. We're drafting another rookie. But come on back. We want you. But go ahead, test the market, see what you can get, and see if all the rest of the teams think you're a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
Because he's better than Colt McCoy to me.
Taylor
That,
has a
that,
lot to
that defeats
offer,
the
though.
purpose.
Yes.
Taylor
That
has. Yeah, go ahead,
go
say.
ahead, go ahead, lady.
No, I was just saying Taylor has a lot to offer. He's been
He
in the
does.
league long enough. He's a very intelligent quarterback. You know, he's short. His arm ain't that strong, so you know, but he's very intelligent, so he has a lot to offer.
He's
He's a
not
lot of
throwing no
he has a lot
lasers.
of he has a lot of intangibles. He's not. I've listened to Lady A too many times say that his best plays are when the plays break down. He's not surgically picking anybody apart from the pocket, and him running is really more of a liability than anything. If you listen to Doc is like I need him out there playing like Batman. When I listened to the show that day, and it's like, well, Batman gets hurt a lot. And so it's a bunch of feel good stuff, but it's nothing that you can really hang your hat on. Now what that speaks to is he's probably better off just being a backup to whoever the guy is.
Mhm.
But that doesn't speak to what he wants to do with his career moving forward. So
Okay, as in responding to what Pick was saying, it doesn't make sense to draft another quarterback, and you've already had a quarterback you sat on a year, and you more or less say that he wasn't good enough to beat the 2 guys that were throwing picks left and right. So you draft a guy, and then are you going to do the same thing you did with these last 2? Let him play a couple of games. He make a mistake, you pull him out, put the other guy in. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to have a backup that's a veteran who's played. That way, if he does get hurt, you got the veteran in there. Because if you go in and you build the animosity, well, why am I here? They draft another quarterback. I'm saying it because not everybody responds well to having someone as similar to them draft at the same time. And I didn't get a chance in the first year. Some people just go out and compete. Some people can't do that. That's why I'm saying that. But it doesn't make sense to draft another quarterback when you got one. You refuse to play into the last game. He showed potential.
Player, I'm drafting another quarterback.
Oh, yeah, we already know you drafted a quarterback. But
but said the only reason why I say that mainly is because I don't think Taylor. We can't account for what Taylor wants to do, and I believe he wants to go try to compete, just like Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush, even though I think he is far below average, I think he really believes he can go compete. Look at the Andy Daltons of the world, like
Aren't
those
you
type
supposed
of guys.
to believe that though?
Yeah,
you're
but
supposed
you gotta
to
be
believe
real.
that you're a starting quarterback.
I think you got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. I'm
Yeah,
serious. I'm not being funny. I think
like Carson needs to be real with himself that he's a backup quarterback in this league now. He's either a backup quarterback or he's a coach in high school.
Well, when we talk about groceries, let's be honest and say that this was doomed from the start because you never gave, for the type of quarterback that he is, you never gave him the offensive line that he needs to be successful, whether he holds the ball too long or not. They were not going to be able to keep that guy upright long enough to make successful throws down the field consistently throughout the season. That's just a fact. And I heard y'all talk about that since training camp.
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying he's what he used to be. He hasn't been an MVP since his MVP season. You know what I'm like? Seriously, he hasn't been that. But at least if you can keep him upright, I believe he can make solid throws in this league.
Well, I wish that we could trade him to the Cowboys to let him compete with Dak because no, we'll trade him to the Cowboys,
but he
let him compete with Dak and see how that works out because y'all got an offensive line. Y'all got an offensive line.
So no, we don't. We lost our starting right guard for the year with an ACL, and we've been
right.
shuffling ever since. Trust me, this ain't what it's cracked up to be. Player.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, and I see DJ Bland's comment. You know, I'm gonna stick with my offensive line, middle linebacker. You got to resign or find a way for Deron and Cam Curl.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely.
I just Cam Curl show, because that's a player that not many people talk about, and that's one of my young guys right there. Since training camp, you know, I hated to see him get injured and not be able to finish out the season. But a couple weeks ago, Coach Rivera referred to him as like the air traffic controller. Once they let Cam Curl, not I want to say once they gave him the responsibility of carrying the green dot, that means he directs the defense.
Yeah.
Everything started to shift. He is so smart, you all. He is so smart. Of course, he wants to win, but his ability to understand and know where everybody on the offense is moving, therefore, he knows exactly where everyone on the defense is going, and he knows where he needs to be in order to cover a gap. It's impeccable. And if you notice, once he went down, that was when that middle started to open back up.
Yep.
You really started to see his value once Cole Holcomb went down, because he had to play basically both positions. And so I really think they need to find a way to keep Cam Curl, to keep Deron Payne. I think the defensive line is now the defensive line that we all thought they were going to be last year.
Yeah.
Right. So they're a little bit year delayed in that, right? Because I think Montez had gotten hurt. Then Chase got hurt.
Chase was hurt.
And then Montez came back, but then it was the COVID outbreak, and they just didn't ever get it together. This year, basically, you got 3 defensive linemen that made the Pro Bowl. Again, a Pro Bowl starter in Jonathan Allen again, and then 2 alternates in Deron Payne and Montez Sweat. And before too long, you're going to have to make a choice between Montez and Chase as well. We all know that day is coming. But if this is essentially the best team Ron Rivera has had since he's been here these last 3 years, and where the true gaps are, it's offensive line and middle linebacker.
Yeah.
You got serviceable quarterbacks. Like, let's just be for real. They're serviceable. They're not elite. They're not nothing like that. And I still believe that Scott Turner was a lot of the issue.
Yes.
I do.
I agree.
If y'all have been on my show, I've been on here before. I said Scott Turner. He was going to send me. I was going to have to shut the show down one night. He made me so mad one night. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, oh my gosh, it's terrible. Donna Hopkins will tell you, at the Philly Monday night game, I thought I was going to jump out of my seat in the press box, because I saw Scott do what he always does, and that is when something is working, he deviates from that. And he did it on a couple of plays, and I said, oh my gosh, if he does not get back in order, and somebody must have told him, hey, you're messing up, and he got it back together. But yeah, I think you can still, and I know people are going to think I am absolutely crazy for saying, hey, I think you can still rock with Taylor and Sam.
Right, I think you can.
Pay Deron and Cam, and you beef up your O-line and your middle linebacker position, and I think you got some hope.
Well, I think that you had just cause to let Scott go anyway, because man, our guy, Linnell Willingham is over there justifying, talking about he's still missing a quarterback, but I don't think that on 3rd and 1, when you have Brian Robinson, who's averaging 4 yards a carry, is not on the field. He's going back to the sideline. My question always was, is Ron Rivera's headset not connected to Scott's, where he doesn't hear the plays that Scott is calling, and why is he not overriding him, telling him, no, get B-Rob on the field, run this ball, get heavy, our heavy package on the field.
Y'all know I've been kind of done with Scott Turner for a while now, right? And I have said, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who's under center. He's not going to call plays that cater to the strength of his personnel. He doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been doing that since he's been here. And Ron, let me be very clear. And I said this, I think I said it earlier, but let me be very clear. Ron has to take some ownership. I think him letting Scott Turner go was in response to that.
Yeah.
But to you all's point, the not knowing that they could be eliminated, totally unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. I just could not believe, as the head coach, as the leader, you did not know. Understanding, to Ant's point earlier, you focused on winning. You focused on winning, yes, but you have to understand the implications of not winning, right? Because they were always playing so lackadaisical, like they had just one more game, they had just one more game, and that's because their head coach, just one more game. But when you give that passive nature and just let your coordinators do what they do, I'll have to commend Jack Del Rio, because I gave Jack Del Rio a hard way to go at the beginning of the season, and we saw him adjust.
Yeah,
Over early for various
reasons,
but he started understanding how to best use his personnel, especially once injuries started transpiring.
Right.
Scott never did that, right? And to you all's point, yeah, Ron needs to be in somebody's ear, and you need to understand. And when I really got ticked off, it was early in the season. I don't know if you all remember this story. Scott Turner was initially down on the field.
yeah,
Yeah, we know.
Had communicated he's used to his offensive coordinators being on the field. They were doing all of this, caring about, what works best for you. Okay, you're gonna be on the field. By week 3, he's back up in the booth.
Yeah.
Well, why is Scott back up in the booth?
Because people was talking to him.
Too loud. Well, of course it's too loud. It's a football game.
Right.
At that moment, I said, he's not right. He's not it.
Yeah.
Because you have to, yes, you are the leader. Yes, what you say goes, but it's a part of you. You have to understand you're just getting to know if this your person. And again, going back to Ron having to say, hey, listen, this is my guy. This is who I got here. This is QB1. He needs you down here. You need to be down here.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be down in the elements like the rest of us.
Yep.
And calling these plays.
And it ain't make him better.
Exactly. When he thought more of himself in the comfort of the booth than what QB1 at the time asked for and said he needed to be successful, I said, that guy's not it. You need to get him out of here immediately.
He's gone now. So this is something that I heard from or Jay Gruden say. I didn't hear directly from him, but I heard Jay Gruden say he never hired a defensive coordinator that could replace him. Right? That's like self-preservation. If you look at Ron's staff now, there was no way he was going to get fired in the season because nobody had the qualifications to replace him other than Jack Del Rio, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, my question goes here. An up-and-coming offensive coordinator coming in under new ownership, let's say just an Eric Bieniemy or Byron Leftwich, right? I'm just throwing those names out there. Or the quarterback coach, Joe Brady, that's in Buffalo, who just happened to quarterback LSU to a national championship game. So we should just scratch those 3 names off the list so that way Ron doesn't feel threatened. How would Cliff Kingsbury? Exactly. Thank you, Bland, because I'm not even going to try to say that name. So should we just scratch DJ? Should we just scratch any competent person off of the list coming in as an offensive coordinator that doesn't need their hands held?
That is a very that's a great question. Here's why. I kind of mentioned this earlier, that sometimes it's hard for the leader to understand that you don't have to be the smartest person in the room.
Right.
If you are the smartest person in the room, you're the wrong room. even if you are the leader. Right? Y'all get what I understand what I'm trying to say?
Right, yeah.
So
'cause
if
Ant's
you
smarter than me
are
all day.
intimidated by other smart people, or it bothers you, or you don't want to be replaced, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult.
And that's why Jay gone.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
You gotta welcome innovation and creativity. You gotta move with the times. Look at what this league is full of. This
Mhm.
league is full, and they're gonna really crank it up in the playoffs. You know, the playoffs get really good. It's always a lot of fun watching the playoffs.
Right.
And they turn it up. I mean, I'm the person that remember I would tell y'all, and look, DJ, he keeps up with everything that I do. He knows I've been talking about getting rid of Scott Turner for a while now, and it finally happened. Okay. And I am also a person that always continues to talk about you use your fastest players as your kick returner. Why are you so passive in an environment on a team where you know your offense struggles? Because your offense has a problem getting the ball down the field. You need one of your track stars
There you
to catch
go.
that football and get out there and give the team the best field position possible. Because you know you're not going but so far.
Yeah, because I thought that
You
fair
don't think
catch.
Dax Milne is all world?
No, he's a fair catch. He's a fair catch gangster.
That guy's terrible.
And feel free to use it. I got that trademark. Fair
Antonio
catch
Gibson
gangster.
to get back there. He finally got back there, but not much play. But you got Curtis Samuel, you got Jahan Dotson.
You got a bunch of
Maybe
people.
you don't want to use Terry all the time, but come on. You got De'Ami Brown. Okay, you still got De'Ami. You have faster players.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Pick
don't say his name too many times. His head be blowing. Don't say his name too many times. His head be blowing.
That makes his blood bad. Yeah,
De'Ami, yes.
Don't say his name too many times. Pig head be blowing.
Pick.
I don't.
Right.
Does De'Ami have more catches this year than he had last year? Because he had 12. And we're going to keep this man on the roster for 12 catches. That's the reason why we drafted Jahan Dotson.
Well, that's the reason why I would have preferred to at least see what he could do at kick return, at returner. Because if he's on this, faster than Dax Milne.
If he's on this roster next year, he better be returning kicks, he better be returning punts, and he better have at least 20 catches.
But Dax needs to go because Dax he was afraid to run.
Who is that? Dax?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was afraid to run, and then when he did run, it was like, "What do I do? Where do I go?" He need to go.
Yeah, Dax Milne was so bad. He made Kelvin Joseph look like a good special teams player, and he shouldn't be in the league. And he was a second-round draft pick. So,
all right. See, I'm not kicking you off. If you want to stay with us, you could stay. We're never kicking you out of here.
Who's that? Me?
You? Yes, man.
I got some time. I got till 9:30 because I was late with you all anyway.
Okay,
I'm moving some things around.
I gotta ask you this before we give it to say it, because at what quarter did you go to sleep? At what quarter did you go to sleep during this college football playoffs yesterday? Because
you said playoff.
I'm in the championship, the college football championship.
You better get that right. Say it about mad.
Look. That was we got hoodwinked, led astray,
bamboozled. I knew it was gonna happen.
By said.
I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was so disappointed. I said, how did this happen? I was really upset by the score. I was very distraught. I said, right. How did we all get here?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Listen,
I don't think anybody thought that was really good.
Said told us. He said we got freshmen playing all over the place, and this person hurt and that person hurt. I said, well, I'm playing the under.
But I didn't lie.
He told the truth.
But you didn't tell us that
I told you all the freshmen was playing. Michael Williams, true freshman.
He just ain't know the
Alexander, true freshman.
You ain't tell us that they was gonna score they was gonna beat the over by themselves.
Yeah, no, said didn't. Yeah, said didn't. I think said always figured they would win, but I don't think he think they were gonna win.
No. Said.
I actually thought. I mean, I said it was. I felt like it was gonna be more of a competitive game because the way TCU had played Michigan.
Right.
Remember, we dominated Michigan last year. They dominated Michigan this year. I said, okay, well, maybe it's gonna be more of a competitive game. Offensive line, defensive line, yada yada yada. But then later in the week, I said, wait a minute, they're not taking into account these tight ends we got.
Yeah.
We got some monsters at tight end. And that was part of the proven ground.
What?
They went to that 3-5. We moved them tight ends. They stayed. Oh, okay. We finna light this up. And that's exactly what Todd Monken did. He lit that 3-5 up. They were spinning the top in the first quarter. Which way did he go?
And can we talk about how stupid that is? You doing a 3-3-5 against the best offensive line in college football. You ain't getting no pressure on this quarterback. And let's be clear here, Stetson Bennett ain't finna go get drafted in the first round. He is going to be the backup of backups. He will be Chase Daniels. And that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect.
Chase Daniels made a lot of money.
Exactly. And that's no disrespect to him. But, man, you are surrounded by so much talent. Just don't mess it up. But I'm like, 3-3-5, no, sir. That ain't going to cut it. Not against them guys. And they ran the ball fast, and they ran it hard. Listen, I mean, I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm like, to see those guys like run on a sweep or something and catch the edge and a guy all game, they had linebackers shooting the gaps and they didn't touch the running back. I'm talking about, I can't listen, those guys are so good. Say that's a I don't got words.
No.
I don't got
words. I mean, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I know. Anybody who doesn't like Stetson Bennett, it was me.
Yeah,
I had to put it out there. Mm-hmm. But you cannot take away he's only lost 3 games in 2 years. He's only lost 3 games in 2 years.
Y'all coaches like Ron Rivera, y'all keep trying to put the milkman on the bench.
No.
He wasn't gonna put on the bench. We might have put him on the bench, but Kirby Smart wasn't gonna put him on the bench.
Well,
because he had that intangible that we couldn't see at practice that he saw at practice.
Right.
We saw the mistakes he was making in games where would make us question why he's still in the game.
Well, what I'm saying? Did you hear the audio, Candy, of Kirby Smart before the game?
Easy. It's a family show.
It's pretty impressive.
Oh wow!
It's pretty impressive, Candy.
I mean, it's a motivating. It's motivating.
It's a lot of expletives. It's a lot of expletives. Probably ain't never gave that speech in his life. But Kirby Smart, he know how to. Hey, and one of the players right before they was about to end it, and when he said, "Hell yeah," I said, "Oh yeah, they finna go beat the brakes off of these boys. They finna go beat the whole pudding out of these kids."
It was a part in the pregame speech where he said, "Did you hear what they said about us? I was so pissed off. I was ready to play right there."
And I told somebody that said when I was watching the game and they kept blitzing in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I said, did the coach say something? Like the coach had to have said something to make them guys mad like that. Because at a certain point, you call the dogs off.
They did.
Yeah, with 7 minutes to go.
They did. No. It was more than 7 minutes. It was like 14 minutes in.
Okay, but it was 65-7.
You're forgetting that your backups are 4-star recruits.
It was third string.
Stop blitzing.
That was third string.
They 5 stars.
The dude that scored them 2 touchdowns. The dude that scored them 2 touchdowns is a true freshman third stringer
with 5 stars next to his name.
Hey, hold on, Pick. And he could have started anywhere in the nation.
Anywhere in the nation.
That's right.
Anywhere. That's
and I don't got no problem with it. I'm just saying that poor Duggan kid, he might just go start working at mid-yards.
Boy, did they even got millions left? Man.
That's my point. That's my point. That's my point.
Well, but y'all didn't think. I mean, I was really in shock about the score. Like, I really was disturbed. I was like, wait a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Like, wait a minute. Like, what went through everybody's mind when it was 45-7? Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
I was like praying for the under to still come in.
No.
Come on, y'all.
I called that a half pick. I said they gonna get the over by themselves.
Yep.
I'm telling you when I knew the game was over. When TCU went 3 and out and Georgia drove that ball the length of the field, Georgia ended up kicking the field goal, but TCU had no answer.
Right.
No answer. Matter of fact, because Stetson Bennett missed 3 passes. He missed 3 passes on that drive to end with a field goal. TCU had no answer for that offense. None.
No, that's the one where old boy dropped it and he was out. He was out the backside on that backside post, and the defender played the ball through his body. I know what drive you're talking about.
So I mean, at that point, I knew it was over. I knew it was over.
That guy Dugan, that guy. I at some point, I'm trying to understand why they just didn't go to the backup.
The backup.
He was
Listen to me, pick that kid. I can't. This is gonna be the most epic Coach 30 we've ever seen.
Oh, he was in the building.
I can't wait for Coach 30.
No, that kid literally pissed down his leg the entire game. Like he was missing wide open. Like I told y'all before the show, I'm watching them. Even though they were getting dominated on the line, TCU was better pass blockers than run blockers that whole game. He had time to throw the ball, but it got to a certain point where if he threw the ball 10 yards or more, it was a pick.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Candy, you know Coach 30? You know who Coach 30 is?
No, I don't.
I will send you the video.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
This kid is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. He's crazy.
Now
he is sick.
No, while we talking about this squad, they're about to lose 5 people. Oh boy, I'm falling out of the. I'm falling.
He's
No. You say you freezing.
He freezing and he froze.
But no, I mean, since I know what it says,
He's
trying
in
to tell us
he's in gigabyte jail right now.
You said he was. But
no, he's not a gagillionaire, that's for sure.
No, he's saying that they're going to lose a lot of people, which they are.
But they got a top 5 class coming in again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do know they have top recruits coming in, so they're not going to miss a step.
There you go, I see you.
Uh-oh, he went back out.
I put him in, and then he took it.
No, he was putting himself in. Yeah,
let him put himself in, pick, because you just taking people out by accident.
No. What I was about to say was, this team is only about to lose 4 people on the offense and 5 people on the defense.
Wow.
9.
Everybody else is a freshman or sophomore.
They can afford to lose those people.
Would you please?
Because their true freshmen just embarrassed TCU on TV, on national TV. They can afford to lose those people.
But not even that. Their best tight end is only a sophomore, which I keep complaining to the NCAA about. He needs to play wide receiver. He's not a tight end, and you keep letting Georgia put him at tight end. It's not fair to the rest of the divisions in college football.
Look, who in charge of their scouting in their recruiting department?
We need them exactly.
Look, and the Falcons won't draft not one of them.
Right, that's true.
But I tell you what, if y'all got any linebackers coming out, let me introduce you to Mr. Mayhew up at Washington.
Right now,
we ain't got none.
No linebackers, safeties.
What about offensive linemen?
We need offensive
3 of them.
Oh, we need them.
Corner, because what's his name? Ringo.
They got y'all. The pre-mock draft had y'all taking Keelan Ringo at corner.
I did see. We talked about that too.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Well, we want to take all of them. So I'm gonna figure out a way to get the Rodgers. So just let us get all of Georgia's players coming out this year. They reserved earmarked
for them right into Washington.
Let's pencil them right on in.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you, CWall.
This has been a lot of fun.
Can you tell everybody when the next time Coaching from the Couch is coming on?
Thursday. It's been a long week and it's been a long year and it just started 10 days ago. Told you from the couches on Thursday. The weekly DMV sports update is Thursdays at 7:30. But this week, we are doing the season finale of the Washington Commanders update. So we're going to shut down Washington Commanders update for the season. It'll pick back up in August. I am still available to do guest spots on shows and everything like that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I'm not just going to be like, nope, don't call me. You can call me. I'll do a draft special. And I'll cover the Commanders updates in the weekly DMV sports update. But this week, you definitely want to tune in on the CWall Sports and Entertainment Facebook page or YouTube page to catch it live. And if you are local to the DMV, it comes on Bowie Television every day from 1:30 to 2:30 on channel 11 or channel 77.
There we go.
The Washington Commanders update, like I said, it's the season finale. We got a lot of content. We're going to walk through beating Dallas, if it mattered or not. I said it real loud on purpose.
You said if it matters or not. Thank you for saying that part.
It matters.
Hey, CWall, I'm going to tap in with you next Monday when we're in the playoffs. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we could share a virtual drink watching you lose to Tom Brady. But let me stop.
Hey, I
really did want to talk. I do have to go, but I really wanted to figure out what was wrong with Dak because I was like, what in the world happened to Dak? Is his throwing hand still hurt? I'm being so serious right now.
So serious. Not a good quarterback. I've been saying this before.
We got a Carson Wentz.
That guy, he's not the guy. I don't know. It's some type of mental thing he has.
Yes,
or something.
I do agree with that.
It's a mental thing, and it's gonna cost us every time. I go back to him at Mississippi State. He played well up until the big moments, and in the big moments, he always faltered. They made it to number one. They beat LSU, or I think that year.
I remember that.
Then he did this. That's the player he's been his whole career.
Yeah.
When the league caught up with him after that first year, he's never been the same player. So that's the truth.
That was I just was in shock. I do believe Michael Parsons is hurt. I think he's dealing with several injuries.
Micah's beat up. Micah is beat up.
So that's what we're gonna do here.
I'm just saying. I'm being,
I'm giving you a little analytical playoff talk.
No. Let me tell. No. Listen, guys.
We need him. You need him out.
How these great players. It's amazing how these great players regress to the mean of where they're at. I was expecting for him to elevate that defense and those guys to the mentality of the greatness that he has displayed. He has just become another one of the caricatures of the Dallas Cowboys that disappears when it matters most. He wasn't hurt last year in the playoffs when he disappeared. He goes and has these 2-sack games and then he disappears. He doesn't affect the game outside of when he has 2 sacks a game. He'll have 2 tackles and then he'll complain about holding the whole game.
Hey man, how about you save that for 5 good minutes?
Yeah, I got you going.
Yeah, he about to go.
I got you started. That was my fault, y'all.
Big man.
No, but if y'all have time on Thursday night, 7:30, the CWall Sports and Entertainment Facebook and YouTube pages to also check out right after we do the weekly DMV Sports update. I'm going to go through the Commanders update and we'll walk through the Dallas game and we're going to go through exit interviews. We have some exclusive footage of some of my one-on-one interviews with some of your favorite Commanders players. So we had a little bit of fun on a somber day. So if you can check it out, we'll be online Thursday night.
All right. That is CWall from CWall Sports and Entertainment. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's one of our insiders, and we appreciate her. Hey. Hello.
I don't even have a church hat on.
No, put your church hat on.
It left a line on my head. I'm not built for those things.
Got you. All right.
But I got this fan now.
There you go. Kill him with the fan, girl.
Drop that fan out. That is hilarious.
Kill him with the fan. All right. So, we did get into a part of it anyway. So now, let's go ahead and do this right here. Say it.
Come on,
go on, get it.
Welcome to 5 Great Minutes with the Georgia Bulldogs. Hey,
Man,
let's just go ahead and talk about this NCAA championship game and his dynasty, which I said at the beginning of the year that Kirby Smart has built at Georgia, and people laugh. The guy has built a monster. Kirby Smart prepared these guys for a TCU team that beat Michigan. He prepared them for whatever TCU thought they were going to do, whatever TCU should have done. The defense was prepared. The defense had one mistake on the switch rotation where the two wide receivers crossed, and they were supposed to switch. One of them did switch, and both of them won. That's how they get the one big play. Other than that, they played a similar defense to what they played against Tennessee. I'm talking about Georgia. They compacted it. They compacted the pocket a la Belichick. So was no running quarterback in this game. He had to get outside. So they kept 8 people deep. And since he couldn't get out of the pocket, they stayed 8 people deep. So when the 8 people deep, TCU had no counter. TCU first 3 drives was 3 and out till they got that one bomb. But at that point, Georgia already had the momentum. Stetson, Stequavius, he came in with the shaved head. They call it Stequavius. Bennett showed up. He was locked in. He was ready to go. He did his thing. They utilized the running back first to loosen up the defense, and then they hit him with the tight end. Georgia had 13 third downs. They were like 9 or 13. And not like 3rd and 1. I'm talking about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 17. And he was out there throwing darts. He played a great game for a guy who was a Heisman finalist and being his last game of the season. He gave NFL some tape on him if someone decides to give him a chance in the 3rd or 4th round. I do believe he'll be drafted because you can't discount what he's done the last 2 years as the starter. You can't discount that. So Georgia did what they were supposed to do. McIntosh ran the ball hard. Milton ran the ball hard. He threw the ball to 7 different receivers. Everybody ate. Did I see this coming? No. But once the avalanche started, a la Nick Saban, if you can't stop it, guess what? We're going to run it again.
Well said. I got to say, man, you really showed me on all these injuries that y'all had, and big agent Zero not playing. Next thing I know, he's on the field, and y'all defense was hunting, as the coach said. Let's go hunt.
That's right.
First off, I think it's unfair to hunt frogs. Right? And you took shotguns to hunt them. And not only did you take shotguns to hunt these frogs, I mean, you brought extra ammo. I mean, I think you had a couple of recruits get in the game yesterday that was 5 stars that still had some eligibility to play because they hadn't played all year, and they scored a couple of touchdowns.
Because Nakobe Dean definitely disappeared at a certain point. He was on the sideline. Don't think I ain't see that, Georgia. I won $5 million. I'll tell the whole story. No, I mean, listen, man. Now y'all know I'm going to be somewhat of the contrary. I just feel like this is dominance. This is dominance at the highest level. Alabama's never done nothing like that in a national championship. But I will say this: what Nick Saban was able to do for a greater of a decade. They're in the process of getting there. When we talked earlier in the year, and you made a comment about we're the new Alabama, that's all I was saying. Oh no, this is what they're looking like, and they're headed that way, but they still got to keep doing it. I don't count Nick out as well. I feel like Nick take this personal, and he gonna retool. Now they got to do a lot of work on that defense.
And he was in the building yesterday too. He was in the building.
They circled him. I'm like, nobody cares about him. I hate the fact that they think if Alabama would have been there that they wouldn't have got some of that same sandwich. They would have got some of that same sandwich.
They would have got all that.
Alabama would have got drubbed just the same, and that just goes to show you how big and bad Georgia really is now. They got the potential to do some stuff we ain't seen before.
I got a question for Sid. Y'all backup quarterback, when y'all took the milkman out yesterday, y'all backup quarterback, is that going to be the starter next year? Because that kid, he's bigger than Stetson. And I'm not sure if his arm is not even live.
And he said that. He said that too.
It's going to be between Carson Beck and Vandegrift. Vandegrift is a running quarterback. He runs better than Carson Beck. It's going to be between one of the two. One of them is going to transfer. The one that's not made a starter is probably going to transfer, because the guy behind him is the young guy I told you about who broke all of the Deshaun records in Georgia. Number one dual threat quarterback in the nation. That's who's behind the two of them. So more likely one of these guys is going to transfer after spring drills, because obviously they want to play.
Right.
But Carson Beck, remember, I don't know if you remember during the draft last year, George Pickens, they bring their own whoever they want to throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's who throw the ball for George Pickens. George Pickens said, I want him to throw me the ball. I like the way he throw it. I like the way he put it. That's who threw the ball. So that's a double-edged sword. So not only did he throw the ball, NFL scouts got a good look at him.
Right.
Even though he's a redshirt sophomore. They got a good look at him and say, hey.
So he really just so he'll probably be so what you telling me is get a futures ticket on a Heisman contender right now.
I was in the back when I realized I didn't have enough time. For real. I was in the back because I didn't have enough time pulling up Bovada because I wanted to see what the odds are.
No.
I know. That's what I said. I was trying to pull it up, but I couldn't. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you the same thing.
Those odds, I think that Bet Rivers.
On Bet Rivers.
Yeah, right. Hey, what's happening, Jonathan Adams? Yeah.
Hey, John.
But anyway, I was trying to see,
because everybody thinks Caleb Williams is going to do this again. Yeah, everybody thinking Caleb Williams is going to do this again, but the way Georgia is set up, and it's going to depend on whether or not Todd Monken stays, because after what he showed, after the playbook he unleashed on TCU, he probably won't be there, because the one play that really showed they had TCU confused was when they had the two wide receivers over here on the left side, and they ran that running back on the wheel route, and they took one of the wide receivers, and Thomason's nephew stopped and came up for the running back and left 84 running to the end zone by himself.
Oh, that's the play I was finna say, Conklin. Yeah.
That's a tight end. He got a wide receiver?
No, it was 84. It was 84.
Oh, the one wide receiver that y'all actually have.
You know my only issue with that play said, I say all the time, you keep everything in front of you no matter what.
Right.
I'm not finna let this guy go behind me and trust who.
But if he coming from the other side, and if he coming from the other
side, he wasn't coming from the other side.
No, he wasn't. That guy came, like he said, on a wheel. Just kept going.
Yeah.
He stopped for him. No, I'm keeping everything in front of me, fam.
It was a safety fault. It was a safety fault.
It was.
It wasn't his fault. It was safety fault. He was supposed to. No, actually, the linebacker. It was the linebacker's fault. He was supposed to take the running back, but the safety was supposed to be deep. But the safety went to the right, and still he wasn't in the middle of the field. He was way on the other side of the field.
First off, hold on. I'm not gonna let y'all sit here and blame the safeties like that. We got rules when we play safety.
Oh boy,
we got rules when we play safety, and it just depends on if it was a 2 deep or 3 deep or single high safety.
They were in like some type of like quarters or something. Like it wasn't like a.
So if you in quarters and you got 2 wide receivers over here, you got if you in quarters, right? Then that's that corner's job to stay deep, because it's quarters coverage, right? So I got my quarter over here, but y'all not just going. I'm gonna have to watch the play. Send me the 20. I'm gonna break that down for y'all.
He got finessed. He got finessed.
He got finessed, but I'm not gonna let y'all put that safety out there like that. No, I'm gonna
What you say? What you say? Ed, say it again.
What said is the safety went to the wrong side of the field. If he shifts to the left, then everybody played their position.
Right.
But if you leave a corner in a position, you're gonna go to what's instinctually makes sense to you versus what you should do. It's just common sense to me to bail if all else fails.
Because even had he stayed deep, nobody went out with the running back.
Right.
So the running back was going to score because nobody went with the running back.
Well, you don't know that he was going to
You'll see.
No,
you gotta watch.
You're going to have to see me the play. Say, hey.
He stopped. That's what I'm saying. He stopped. So the wide receiver kept going. So had he stayed with the corner.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
The running back was wide open on the wheel route.
Hey, all right, he got finessed.
I'll find a short thing.
All right,
it's
so
okay.
listen.
It happens.
Nasty play, though, I ain't gonna lie.
But I do have a question for y'all, though.
Go ahead.
What do y'all think this leaves TCU to get embarrassed this way for next season?
I think that TCU has nothing to hang their heads about. I really believe TCU has nothing to hang their heads about. I think they were expected to finish 7th in their conference. Mm-hmm. They won their conference outright. They went through a gauntlet. They showed well versus Michigan, right? And they deserved to be where they were. The way they got beat, that's just not being that's talent where you have one draftable wide receiver and they have 15 draftable players on the field when you're only supposed to have 11 of them on the field at one time. You know what I mean?
I think they're too small. And
it did look like varsity versus JV.
And I saw them quit.
Yeah.
I saw them quit.
Yeah.
And that's the part that made me the maddest because it was on that last one of them few touchdowns to who was it? Was it number 84? And the guy is trailing them in the end zone and he just stops.
Yeah.
And then he looks up after the ball is thrown, like, oh, the ball got lost in the lights or something. No, sir, you quit on the play. And I want to say another word, actually. But you stop. I hate quitters. You are on the biggest stage of your career.
Sure.
You quit. I'm just telling you, I've always been the smallest guy. I was never a big, tall guy. But I had more heart than anybody I've ever been around. You're going to have to beat me into submission. And the fact that I thought they had that dog in them to compete, and I saw them give up at a certain point in that game, that was the most disappointing thing to me. And I'm not a TCU fan, but I was rooting for them because they are from my home city.
Yeah.
But that they make it hard to make a case for those undefeated teams, those one-loss teams that don't go through the SEC, that don't go through the Pac-12s, to get in again because you go and get totally dominated. We've never seen anything like that before.
Mm-hmm. But see, part of that is, I mean, part of it is the rigorous. A lot of Big 12 teams are spreading them out through the ball. That's why the 3-5 usually works. When you get penetration that the first 3, maybe first 4, you stop and run. Now they got to throw the ball. You're in place. In the SEC, we are run first. We're gonna make you stop the run. Then you stop the run, we're gonna hit your pass in. Now he said, wait a minute, we're gonna come to the same formation and run out of it, which is what they did. They came to the same formation, they ran of it. Matter of fact, I think the first 2 or 3 runs were like 10 yards apiece. One was off to the right, one was off to the left, one was off tackle.
Yeah.
And then they threw the ball behind it. So then for TCU, it was like, wait a minute. You know, the offense that we ran wasn't the offense we had ran throughout the year. It's like Kirby said, okay, Todd Monken, I'm going to allow you to open up the playbook. Show them some of the stuff you hadn't showed them all year long. They went to the base offense a couple times. But I think I talked to Pick. I said, Pick, remember, I was talking to Pick. I said, they haven't ran this offense. They haven't been set up like this all year. So nobody had tape on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said our offensive coordinator is probably going to be gone because he is doing stuff that is just we haven't seen yet. And when you are so talented at the tight end position, and you put all your tight ends on the field and put one wide receiver out there with running back, yet you are playing to the strength of your team. Drew has a question here. He says, "Do y'all think Georgia has the talent to three-peat?"
We have the easy schedule.
They got a terrible schedule next year.
We have one reason is because they made us pull OU off of the schedule because OU's coming to the SEC. The SEC made us pull out. Now I'm not sure who they got in there to fill that spot. Because most Power 5 teams, they won't notice prior to coming to another Power 5 team to play early in the season. Right. I think it was like the first or second week of the year we were supposed to play OU this year, but now it's somebody else.
Coming up
the schedule is not rigorous at all, except for Tennessee.
Tennessee, y'all got to go to Tennessee.
You got to go to Tennessee, except
y'all
Tennessee.
Don't play Alabama.
Nope.
And I think LSU comes to y'all.
Say it again. I'm sorry, Pink. Say it again.
I think LSU comes to y'all.
No, we don't play LSU either.
Can I say this though?
No.
I don't like the TCU is winners already. Man, can we stop that? I want to say I have choice words for that mentality because it doesn't apply when we talk about the pros, but all of a sudden it applies to TCU because they were expected. Okay, what if we just undervalue who TCU was from the beginning and they were supposed to be there? I get all the stuff that happened. A quarterback gets hurt here. They started a backup here, but they took care of their business to get there. I expect for you to compete, sir.
Well, hey, listen. I don't. Like John said, the score was 50-7. How much more compete do you
65.
want? Well, at the time when they pulled.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Before they put the third string in.
Here's the thing. I don't believe in another man beating me into submission until I see it happen. And so the fact that, and I can't say that they beat him into submission and they made him. No, something already in you.
I mean, like I say, I just think they were overwhelmed. They were over once the avalanche starts. You know what I'm saying? It was 10-7.
Yeah.
They had a good kick, and then Georgia had a penalty. They turned around with 92 yards. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Georgia turned with 92 yards, right? At that point, it's 17-7. They kicked the ball off. TCU goes 3 and out.
Yeah.
Right? Next thing you know, they scored again.
Yeah.
It's an avalanche. Now, matter of fact, when they scored that touchdown, they go 24-7. They showed some TCU players on the side. Hands were like this. Lie to you not. Because someone could see it. You can see some people was like,
coaches didn't get us ready.
What the hell is going on?
And their spirits were broken.
Number 57 for TCU.
The linebacker.
That was the dog of dog. He was still out there running hard.
That's the one came from Navy.
I just start seeing. My thing is.
That's why he did it. Navy man.
This is the difference for me. If I try to tackle you as hard as I can, and it's a form tackle, and I'm meeting you with aggression, and your aggression overtakes me, okay, I can see you beat me into submission.
Babe.
But when I get into the hole, and you arm tackle me, or you're trying to arm tackle me, I ain't with that. For me, I can't respect that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna meet me in a hole, meet me in a hole.
Yeah.
Put your body to the side and try to grab me. Oh man, I ain't that type of man, dog. We're gonna have to see about it. That's all I'm saying.
So Ant is calling TCU's manhood out right now, saying they quit.
Say it.
I'm sorry.
Am I wrong, am I right? If I meet you in the hole, our body's supposed to collide.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm reaching for you all of a sudden. You ain't even shift. The dude didn't do a side jump, a side cut. He kept running through the hole. How is it that you are trying to reach at me when you met me at the hole?
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff where I'm like, that goes back to the fundamentals. That's training camp. That's
what quarter was
we're
that?
Teaching.
What quarter was that?
I saw that the whole game, said no lie.
Because I saw
a TCU defender meet one of those guys in the hole and tackle them.
Yeah, now I saw it in the third quarter. I saw a lot of that coming out of
And
halftime.
their spirits were broken by then.
Oh, sweet. I'm fading again.
Yeah.
Oh,
There it
oh.
goes. Yeah, they
sweet.
their spirits
Sweet Jesus.
their spirits were broken, and
They
and
were. Their spirits were
that's
broken.
and you got to realize, man, at some point in time, like somewhere when it's like 40 something to 7, you like the hopes of us coming back is slim
Yeah.
and none. And I've really rather fight Slim than Georgia. You know,
I guess my thing is it would be like me fighting like John Greaves the third or something. You know,
well,
and he comes in there with his home workouts and he's like talking crap to me, and I'm like, John, I'm gonna just punch you in the middle of your forehead. And if it affects you, cool. If it doesn't, that's cool too. But I'm gonna punch you in the forehead. You know what I'm saying, John? That's all I'm saying.
oh
Really?
man, I don't.
Here we go. You and John. But no, I mean, I feel like this. TCU, they gave up. Their spirits were broken. Next season.
Yeah, be still.
Oh,
John.
not you trying to hit the video.
Yeah, that's
Something wrong with it.
Hey, John said
That's an immediate L.
that's
right,
an
John.
immediate. That's
You're right,
an
John.
immediate L.
You take an immediate L.
Oh no, he talking about you.
Nah, he ain't talking about that.
But no,
First
like
of all,
I
we the
feel like
same height.
next season TCU is. I feel like we're gonna see a stronger TCU because
I
when
think
you
their
take a
recruiting class
beat
should be-
down like that,
They lose 6 games next year.
No, their
But when
recruiting
you
class.
take-
Their
when you
recruiting
take
class
a
should be
beat
better.
down like that, no, you really you're gonna come out different. You're gonna
Yeah.
come out different.
It's gonna make you stronger for sure.
And if said you back, so I'm gonna ask you this real quick.
I'm sorry.
Offensive coordinator for Georgia. You say he ain't gonna be there. Where he gonna go?
He was getting some NFL looks.
Oh, okay.
They were
Maybe
talking
Ron
about it
Rivera didn't know what he was
probably about a month ago.
Mm.
They never said who it was. The Purdue when the Purdue job came open,
Cowboys.
they thought Purdue would get him, but then Purdue signed someone else. I mean, for me, I'm happy.
Hey, if we got him, Lady A,
There
I'm
you
just
go.
Lady
You know
A,
y'all ain't getting
Lady
him.
A, listen. If we
You know y'all
Hey,
ain't getting him.
but you're gonna have to pay him some money because he the second. Matter of fact, he the first highest paid assistant coach.
we got
So
Jeff
he
Bezos money.
leading college football.
We got Jeff Bezos money.
I'm
Listen,
hoping that he
NFL
Y'all ain't got
also
that.
takes
You know
that.
y'all ain't got the money.
NFL owners got private jet money. Jeff Bezos
Hey,
got
say you been hearing them
spaceship
talking
money.
about. No, we ain't talking about Bezos. Because Bezos ain't here. We talking about Dan Snyder as of right now.
No,
Y'all ain't got
Hey,
no money.
No,
Hey, well,
I'm
Dan
telling
Snyder
you,
gonna write a check that Bezos
I'm
gonna
a
have to
saying
cash.
about
He
it.
gonna
I
write a check his
really
butt
feel
can't cash. That's what he gonna
no,
do.
I really feel like whoever our owner is going to be, I really truly feel that they have already been talking to coaches. That is an
Right.
issue that we have, and I feel like it is under the table conversation.
Hey, and I want to finish this point right quick.
I know you ain't about to talk about no safety action.
Those running backs, like you were saying, they were reaching for them. I don't know if you noticed, and and I didn't realize it either until I was listening to this podcast today. Did you notice how many shoulder harnesses were out there?
Mm-mm.
You didn't notice all the Georgia players with shoulder harnesses on, coming
I
down one
didn't.
over the other. You know why? Bloody Tuesday. They hit Tuesday, Wednesday, and start to recover on Thursday. Keely Ringo had one on. Nolan Smith had one on before he got hurt. Chaz Chambers had one on because them boys hit. The physicality of them hitting. That's why when you heard them talking about Trayvon Walker in Jacksonville, they was like, "Yo, you got to turn it down a little bit." He was like, "What? This is how we practice at Georgia."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
listen, this is what I do know. When it's the last game of the season, and it's for everything.
Yeah.
Y'all know what they call toilet seats under the shoulder pads, right? It's for all the marbles, right? Like there's under your shoulder pads, you have another pad.
Yeah.
Like we call them toilet seats. I used to wear 2 of them jokers because it's for all the chips. I'm breaking you. I'm going through you. That's what those harnesses do too. They oh my god, it just
Yeah, they help keep the
it's
arm
the,
in place so you
it's
can.
the last game. It's the last game of the season. There's no tomorrow.
The guy that had the 3 picks, the 2 picks in the fumble recovery. He had one on Bullet. That's the guy that knocked out Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, that guy. Ohio State players are still looking for him.
And Kirby Smart talked about it last night. Last night said during practice, we're so physical. He dislocates his shoulder. He won't put a black jersey on. He said he won't put a black jersey on and he won't take his hat off. And they turn around, he's back out there practicing again. He said that's a physicality that we want, and that's what we like to see.
All right, call. Let's turn it back to the NFL real fast. So, what playoff matches are you guys looking forward to seeing this weekend? A couple of them are rematches from regular season games that were played earlier during this year. Of course, we know Ant is still looking forward to the Cowboys in Tampa, but he's
no, I'm not. Don't put words in my mouth.
Ant's looking forward to
no,
Tampa.
I'm
not. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
He must feel like they're going home.
Wait, well, hold on. I told you 4 weeks ago. I told you 3-4 weeks ago that they was getting taken on 5 good minutes that they was done. So that ain't changed.
I'm looking forward to the Jaguars and the Chargers.
That's gonna be a nice one.
I'm looking forward to Ravens Bengals.
Is a mark?
I have my reasons.
That's not even gonna be.
I have my reasons,
but I get you.
I'm very curious on how that's gonna end up.
Oh, no, I agree. I thought about that Jacksonville game as well. I'm like, yo, 2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
2 like all intents and purposes. Should win that game. But the way that Lawrence is coming on,
I'm saying they learn how to win.
Miami,
it's funny
Buffalo.
Because Doc said that earlier, and we talked about it as well. But Doc said that earlier. He said, "Commanders are catching the Jaguars at the right time." He said, "Watch this team and midway through the season.
Yeah, he sure
watch
did.
where they're at," and that's what happened. So, and by the way, winner of that game could be a sleeper.
Yeah,
Drew, Tua's not going to play.
Tua's not playing. Yeah,
he still has yet to clear the protocol. He got to worry about his career at this point. He may not play again until next year, even if they happen to win, which they're not going to win because they saw Skylar Thompson against Buffalo.
Nobody thinks that the Giants have a shot at beating Minnesota Vikings.
I do.
I didn't say that. That just one of the games I'm worried about.
Do you know who the Vikings quarterback is?
And Minnesota,
he can choke.
Minnesota is not. Who? Minnesota is the fraudest number 3 seed we've seen in a long time.
So what was Lady A saying? Who you talking about, Lady A?
Do y'all know who Minnesota's quarterback is? He will choke.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
And let's be clear. And let's be clear. The Giants are one of the best coached teams in the playoffs. Period.
True.
Daniel Jones, who? I mean, if you take Saquon off that team, I mean, they're doing magic potions before they come out on the field to win games. So what that coach is doing is nothing short of amazing. He is the real deal.
Cinderella's dress always falls off in the playoffs.
Well, or after a few shots, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay,
both of y'all can go ahead into your timeout corners.
What did I say wrong?
Why is her dress coming off?
It was her slipper, fool.
Well, that's coming off too.
What? And then you talk about after some shots. You came behind them.
After the shot.
What Cinderella did y'all watch or see or read or whatever?
Look, after a few shots, Cinderella ain't even looking to be saved no more. She's just looking for a little fun.
Hey, where's this corner that you're supposed to be in?
Listen. Hey, we're gonna live stream a couple of games. We're gonna live stream a couple of games this weekend.
What games are you thinking?
We'll discuss it after the podcast, which we're about to get off here in a minute. We'll discuss it, and then we'll put it out. We'll put it out to you guys.
I want to give the people a little peek inside. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, y'all are talking good about this Jacksonville Chargers game. That's a Saturday night at 7, 8:15 on the East Coast. That's an interesting game. The Seahawks 49ers, that's a division battle, so they know each other very well. So that game could be interesting as well. The Miami Dolphins and the Bills, that's a 1 o'clock game. I'm not interested in seeing the Bills go ham on Miami.
Right. For DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, they are probably gonna but
they're gonna run through any team that they're playing right now.
The Bengals and Ravens is another game that we could do also. The Bengals and Ravens or the Giants.
If Lamar don't play,
I mean,
is Lamar playing?
By 30.
Yeah, if Lamar not playing, that game is over.
All right, so it looks like Giants, Vikings, and Jacksonville Jaguars and Chargers is the game.
This Seattle 49 game is a division
after
game.
What you just said, the Chargers and the Jaguars will probably be the better one.
All right, so there you have it. We'll be live streaming a couple of games this weekend. All right, we just did a production meeting live on camera for y'all.
People a little something, you know what I'm saying?
Give people a little something. Hey, how about we give them this? How about we give them a reason to come back and holler at us on Thursday? On Thursday, we have David Harrison, who is the co-host of Locked On Commanders, and he also is the host of Locked On Bucks podcast. He's a SI writer as well. So we will go deep into the woods of the NFL playoffs on Thursdays. And we will start to give you our Super Bowl and playoff picks. Plus, I'm going to give y'all a little something else too. You know how NBA players go fishing? You know what I'm talking about? They go on fishing. Said, you know what I'm talking about? Said they go on fishing. Right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a little segment called Duck Hunting. So make sure y'all stick with us on Tuesday and find out who got duck hunted. Who's going hunting. Yeah. Who's going hunting? Hey, we want to thank our guest today, Candy Wallace, CWall. From CWall Sports and Entertainment. It was awesome. We'll put her Twitter handle. Her Twitter handle is already in, and we'll put her YouTube page into the description after in our post production. And again, we look forward to seeing David Harris from Locked On Commanders and Locked On Bucks and SI on Thursday. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys as well on Thursday. Make sure y'all be safe. We appreciate the patience with us today. Man, Ant has 5 good minutes coming for y'all on Thursday. And Ant, wait, Ant, no, sir. Come back, Ant. Come back, Ant. You got something to tell everybody?
Yeah, man. Look, dropped a new episode, Mind of a Man, this past Monday. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? Just check it out. You know
what are you talking about on this? What are you talking about on this episode of Mind of a Man?
Man, I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did a whole bunch of them. I
keep talking.
Remember. Yeah, I just listen. Honestly, this one was a melting pot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a lot of stuff to get off on this.
That sound like gumbo.
Yeah. This is tune in for the gumbo of sorts.
Gumbo of sorts.
Yeah, it got a nice roux to it.
Okay, got you. Say it. Hey, we call it an OG classic because we get in and we get out. Tell them, say it.
Back to back. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Where's
Artlist.io